Fortunato here. Welcome to the Career Creator Report and Recap from the Cannes Lion International Festival of Creativity. We were lucky enough to get to go, and we had partners who were on the ground there activating in a big way. We had career creators who were representing and on the ground doing street style interviews and gathering knowledge and intel on the industry of the creator economy. So what we wanted to do, what we've been asked a bunch is to give the highlights. What does it mean for the career creator who either didn't get to attend or did get to attend? So this could be for anybody considering what are we going to do next year? Should we attend? And also just giving you the TLDR on the things that you need to know without the expensive ticket prices and 4 days in Cannes of sweltering weather. So why I want to cover why we went to Cannes, what is Cannes, why it matters, and who goes there and who you need to know coming out of Cannes. And then what you need to know, the takeaways of things that you can start doing right away. And I'll touch on emerging content trends, networking and partnership opportunities, and brand and storytelling shifts. And then there are tons of future opportunities for career creators. And one of the things that we will be discussing throughout the year is what does our official Cannes presence look like next year? So you may have an opportunity to get to participate in that as part of the Career Creator Network. So some of the headlines leading up to Cannes, there was a lot of built up and amp around the money moving in the market. And what I mean by that are the major companies doing huge headlining deals, such as the talent agency CAA had funded a new company and spun it out into its own entity to be able to fund and invest in creator economy businesses. Why is this a big deal? Well, if you've ever watched the movie or the TV show Entourage, CAA used to be one of the largest talent agencies in Hollywood. It still is, but this is a huge signal that they are making a big bet on the creator economy. And it wasn't the only highlight. Um, there were also a number of other headlines coming along and new players getting announced in line with the Cannes Festival. And much of those kinds of opportunities are companies are spending, I think I saw it around an average of $3 million just to have a big presence and activate there. I'd say that that is definitely seemed accurate based on the size and scale and just how creative and exciting the activations were on site. So there's a ton of money that is going into the creator economy. Um, we had also seen a day before Cannes, the LinkedIn Creator Marketplace launched, and all of the career creators have been asking us about that too. And it's a wonderful tool to, if you're invited in on their beta, to get connected to other deal opportunities that are coming through their marketplace. We've also been asked how it's different from what we do. And what we do is we're platform agnostic. And so our creators work across LinkedIn and access their marketplace. They also work at TikTok. They also might have Discord. They also might have Twitch, et cetera, et cetera. So we welcome all of the creators from different platforms. And then in the deal room in Cannes historically, this is where a lot of the year's budget and brand deals happen. So there were headlines around companies like Amazon, Fox, Netflix, which are all traditionally known as more entertainment media than creator media, but all they're doubling down on deals with creators specifically. Um, Sprout Social, they had also launched another platform integration with Snapchat, and they launched that live from the Quizette. So as you can see, it's like a mix of all of the companies touching the creator economy are investing and doubling down in a big way in the creator economy. I think there were over 250 creators on the Quizette, but lots of creators there taking pictures and networking and doing brand activations on the ground, which was exciting for us to get to be a part of. So I just want to cover, like, from the Jobstream perspective, what specifically are we watching and why we got so curious about Cannes? And it does go back to how the money is moving. So what we're seeing on the like traditional consumer brand side is money in advertising and marketing is shifting from the traditional channels and avenues such as TV, display, print, programmatic, and going towards these new creator partnerships. It's estimated that there is 32.5 billion spent in influencer marketing from 2025. The entire advertising market is $1 trillion this year. So there is a growing market share that is dedicated towards money flowing into creator deals. This is a very high, fast-paced growing industry. From over 10 years ago, the creator economy has grown about 20%, which is pretty unprecedented. Um, and what we're also seeing is the creator budgets expanding over 171%. And what that means is brands who used to be spending on other areas of marketing are now investing those dollars into creators to drive sales, brand awareness, visibility, brand engagement, and just in general, social arbitrage of getting the word out there about their company and the storytelling around their brands. Um, what we are okay, I think I covered everything here. Going to the next one. So what is CAN if you've never heard of it? I have to say a lot of career creators have never heard of CAN because it's new. This is year two for the Creator Beach, and they invested and activated in a really big way, making it part of the official festival. So what happens at the Festival of Creativity is it's kind of like the World Cup of advertising and marketing awards. And the best marketers and leaders and business decision makers and CEOs are all in one place in time celebrating the work that came out of the marketing and advertising functions of their business. So one of the big awards was awarded, for example, to KitKat, and they had a really lovely brand campaign that ran throughout the year. And then they honor other different categories across advertising. Creator has now become one of those categories. Um, there were probably 15,000 people on the streets there representing over 90 different countries. So CAN has also been in operation for, they say the 73rd edition. I think that's 73 years. I don't want to assume. Um, then for the first time, also there was a special delegate pass for career creators. So if you're one who was able to attend or would like to attend next year, my take on it was that they made it much more affordable than what they're charging the brands. And in talking to a lot of the creators who were there on site, just saying, how did you finance this whole trip? Because it is a huge investment in them as a creator and their own personal creator businesses. Many of them said booked early to get the best rates and then figured out brand deals leading up to the event and even on the ground to help recoup the cost. Many of those creators I heard also booked out their calendars for the entire year, and they secured probably 75% is one of the numbers I heard of their annual business in creator deals. So it's not just a place of celebration, it's a place of where there's actual business transacting. And of course, that's why Jobstream wants to be there, is we are looking to build our relationships with more creators and establishing our presence as a leader in the creator economy. So next slide. Some of the other people who were a draw for us to go to CAN is one, we're scoping it out for our career creator network and to see what kind of opportunities there could be for our creators to bring back to help with brand deals and things like that. But then also just scouting for next year. How do we want to activate and show up next year? And I'm manifesting that we'll be on the CAN stage presenting something around the mission that we serve of helping to connect people to jobs through these authentic channels of creator-led hiring. So we also had partners on the ground who we got to spend and deepen our relationships with. One new exciting one came out of CAN. It was spontaneous, and I think that's the magic of CAN, is that you can be planned, but you have to leave room for the spontaneous stuff that happens. Sprout Social, they were hosting the largest cohort of creators at CAN. They had over 250 people represented there, and they were looking for more content and street activity, and that's where we came in. We had met at the event and launched our first series of Let's Go Live. Let's Go Live, co-produced by Sprout and Jobstream, is something that we can take to every single event going forward where we have creators activating. And the whole premise around that is talking about the insights that they're learning on the street, what are the things that are heard? What are the things that are unsaid? What are the kind of big blind spots that aren't being discussed but should? And is also about what brings people, what is driving their passion to be in this business. So we're very excited to be expanding that partnership. Sprout Social will send more information, but has special and unique opportunities for creators to continue to monitor and grow their businesses. And then we also had one of our core partners, the Creator Economy NYC group. Their president and CEO, Brett, was the host and the face of Can Creator Beach. And for us, going just to see him and support him was really special that we could be there and a part of it. And, looking forward to continuing that partnership. But as you can see, just from these touch points, like we're making some really good strides in connecting with partners that are going to help our Career Creator Network grow and thrive. We also had Caliber, which if we're creator-led hiring, they are creator-led journalism, and got to attend one of their salon dinners in hopes of activating again in the future. And we love their mission where we're bringing the real job market to people. They're bringing the real trusted news to people in their social streams. And we met over 40, at least creators, 40 and climbing of new people who are joining our network, which is awesome. So we talked a little bit about the headline specifically and wanted to try to get some commentary from people who were either working at these companies or they're talking about these new M&A and investment opportunities. But we're seeing major advertising organizations like IAB, not just Cannes, but IAB and Digiday and Adweek, all spending a lot of time reporting on and covering the events of the creator economy industry. And so these are the types of things that we're monitoring as well. But for Jobstream, just really validates what we're building here. And my favorite one is the top left is, the great convergence, why the creator economy's future belong to those who unite social, brand, and talent. So, like every other industry, like every company, like every growth story, it's the talent that's powering that. And we sit right at the intersection of those three. And this is Courtney Johnson on the right, I should mention. She is a well-known career creator, and we got to have dinner together and just shared some of the insights and impressions of being at Cannes. And we are looking forward to collaborating with Courtney in a more formal way, going into events like South by Southwest and such. So if anybody in our network is attending those events, we will have invitations and things to invite you to in the future. So back to the opportunity for the creators. You are in high demand. There is maybe even an oversupply of creators versus the demand. But as you can see, this is a start to a very big industry that is growing and quickly growing. What I think that means for our career creators is that you're early. You're already doing what everyone else is going to be trying to do. And it's your investment in your creator business. It's the investment learning about this creator economy that is really going to help lever up your success. So we're very excited to get to continue to partner with so many great career creators in helping to bring more of these real job opportunities to life, but also giving creators new financial income, new job security, new job stability. And we're very proud of all of the new job creation that has come out of Jobstream just in our first few months. What I think we did learn is it's a growing industry and talent is also growing and evolving. So where you see the headlines, there's huge layoffs happening. Take a look at their marketing departments because nearly every single company is hiring for influencer marketing right now, which validates us even further. We're going and looking to partner with all of these companies in helping to either turn their employees into their top performing influencers or connecting talent to their organizations through our trusted network of creators. So, the best creators, I think this was a resounding message, was it's not just about the beautiful brand content that you create. It's about what are your results and the outcomes that you can deliver on for a brand in some partnership. And I think that is how brands are going to be looking at hiring creators and seeing, well, what is the impact that you can make on my business? And by conversions, we're talking about in the consumer world, we're talking about spending behavior, ultimately revenue. In the employer brand world, we're talking about headcount and applications and hires and new visibility to new jobs that are getting created every day. Um, so you are part of probably what I would say the hottest part of the job market yet. And there's there's also, hold on, I want to go to the next one. Um, this is a little bit more of what we talked about, the money moving. Sorry, it's coming. Okay. Yes, kind of hanging on this thread, but the creator economy is no longer a marketing trend. It's becoming a core business function. And we believe we're uniquely positioned to help really help accelerate that for brands and for creators as well. So one more comment on this is that back to the supply and the demand problem. The supply and the demand problem can be easily solved by being the best creator that you can be. And we took back some tips on what that means today and are going to be monitoring this over time. But as you're somebody who's out in the market, um, given that there are more creators than lawyers, accountants, or journalists, competition for you is going to be really high. So the more you can start like building and diversifying your portfolio of how you're working with brands is also going to position you for a more diversity of brand deals. So a couple of things overheard. Um, I think by the end of the festival, this image on the right says, "Can we not?" And it was a brand who had activated and had this bingo card of all of the cringy things people say around the creator economy. And I mean, one that I was hearing all the time was authenticity, authenticity, authentic. AI was a huge topic and how creators are using AI, but how the industry is working on AI from an innovation front. And then all of the AI slop phrases that we hear, it's not this, it's this. So you can see that this industry is really riffing on, like mocking almost the how the CMOs are talking about the creator economy as a business. So it all comes back to who the people are and who is representing your company when you're looking for creators. But some of the things that we took away that I have to say, like, I didn't learn anything I didn't know in any of these sessions, like the conversations and the panels. There are so many amazing perspectives, and that I really appreciated hearing the specific stories. But the number one thing, if I had had a word count tracker, would have been trust is the key to being a successful creator. What we mean by trust is truthful storytelling. Uh, I don't want to say authentic because it's on this bingo card, but that is true. Is what is your perspective? What is your point of view that you bring to your creator practice? The next thing, this was huge, was cultural relevance and a little bit around, well, what made that one TikTok video go viral, but on another platform, it doesn't get any views? What is that all about? It's about cultural relevance in having your finger on the pulse of what is going on. One of the big missing cultural things that I noticed at Cannes was there was lots of transactional conversations happening between brand deals and marketing and spending in the CPG world. Meanwhile, nobody was talking about the fact that those companies, many of them who activated at Cannes and spend all that money, had also laid off thousands of their workforce. And so I think there is definitely a clash, or I don't call this contrarian, but it's a little bit of I don't know, like there is money at these companies, they're laying off their workforce, but then they are spending an insane amount of money hiring creators outside of their organizations to, you know, bring storytelling to the social media channels. So, um, that is something, that dissonance is something to watch out for. And then AI slop is noticeable. And we see that becoming something that is more frequent in conversations around regulations. And I think while we were at Cannes, Instagram launched something that says like you have to say that it was generated by AI. And I'm seeing the paid partnerships tags being called out much more prominently, whereas in the past they used to be hashtags. So I think that's like something to decide for your creator business is what is my AI policy? What's my AI philosophy? Here at Jobstream, it was one of the first things that we did because we are an AI first technology company. And so we said, well, we need to have, before we get started with this, what are the ground rules? What are the guardrails? And you should do the same for your own creative practice. For example, the tools that were being discussed and that are being innovated right now is AI video advertising, where AI is splicing up your video and serving top performing ads. Um, I think there were a lot of the the voice of the creative was missing a bit at Cannes, from my perspective, that AI is an art, true, but what makes creators and brand ambassador types like really special is their unique selves, their ideas, their opinions, their points of views, and AI just is not going to give that. So I feel like at the core of every conversation I was hearing is that it still starts with the talent is coming up with the idea, coming up with the thinking, even though there's AI to help empower some of your work. So I guess one takeaway I would suggest is if you don't have an individual AI policy, you should get clear on what you want that to be. And also because brands are going to be asking, and it's the first thing they're going to want to know. The other big major topic was diversifying income streams. And traditionally, influencers would engage with a brand, they'd be paid up front for a fee, and they would have to go and deliver a bunch of deliverables from a scope of work. So the conversations that we heard were looking into that diversification. One theme that kept coming up was ownership. So if you are somebody with a creator business and it's evolving into other businesses, instead of approaching it like a brand partnership, approach it as an ownership. And there were two companies that come to mind who we met on the ground, but one is called Cherub. Cherub is all about giving creators ownership of businesses. I'd call it venture capital studio meets creator economy. OWM is another one where they are giving brands a way to offer equity over and in addition to brand deals. And so I think that this is something that's going to really help the creators create those sustainable long-term businesses. Affiliate kept coming up all of the time. Affiliate is one of those opportunities where the results don't lie. So your links that you share are directly correlated to a converting action taking place. So the other thing about affiliate is it's opportunity that's always on. It's always there. Companies like ours, companies like TikTok Shop, there's CJ Affiliate, Amazon Associates, and Mighty Networks. These are all other affiliate programs where if you don't have a practice around affiliate, it is one of the sustainable growth levers that you have that can always be on, and you kind of get out of it what you put in. So it's also a great way to start building traction in a category that you're not used to creating content in. For example, if you're like a travel influencer and you want to break into beauty and fashion, you might try going the affiliate model, creating your own content and having kind of your own license to publish it how you'd like and where you'd like to start getting some of those insights that the brands will be looking for. I overheard someone say every single brand should have a live video content channel. Where we're seeing that really take off is TikTok. I've also seen it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn and video are also, by the way, very heavily weighted in terms of GEOs. So if you are a creator who has video content, put it on all of the platforms, social, LinkedIn especially. By live video, there's an opportunity to see results right away, especially if you pair it with the affiliate side. So you have access to products that you can create content around at all times, and with live video, you can promote it at all times. And so literally your business it could be live 24/7 if you wanted it to. Um, we are also really looking forward to doing more of that with the job content as well. Raw video over polished perfection. This definitely is where creator-led content versus brand-led content um, can and should intersect. I think when people see, oh, brand paid piece of content, it looks lovely traditionally. Now what we're seeing is that the raw video is outperforming some of those polished content pieces. So where you might be thinking one day, okay, I didn't do my makeup face today and I didn't do my hair and I had this one out astray is less relevant and just part of the nature of video and digital content that it's fleeting. Um, so don't worry if you don't get the editing perfectly well. I think another tip is we talked a lot about short form versus long form. And it's not one or the other. It can be both. But if you aren't sure if you want to invest your time into long form, the rule of thumb is, well, see how it performs for 5 minutes. Because if you go through all of the work to create like a 60-minute piece of content and nobody gets past the first 5 minutes, well, that's a lot of resource and your time wasted. So the takeaway there is just test small, see what your audience, how they respond, or see if it helps you grow your audience, if that's one of your goals, and then grow and develop from there. Growth through partnerships. This is also at the conversation of every single creator. They want all the brand deals with all the social platforms and brand ambassador type of things. And while we were there, LinkedIn also launched a collaborate with me function on their posts, which really ties into the creator marketplace that they've created and giving a better playground, if you will, for brands and creators to connect on LinkedIn's platform. So I think we'll start to see more platforms leaning into that partnership and shared co-produced model. Here were a few of the brands that just looking at some of their offerings, how they're supporting creators. And I'd say, unlike other CAN events, from what I heard, is that there was a huge emphasis on the tech, insights, analytics, performance measurement, new technologies built with AI coming to help power different creative solutions. So there's a huge emphasis on tech right now. Okay, what was unsaid? This is still a little bit of the contrarian take, this one here, but um, us being there, like we are not advertisers for the CPG category. What Jobstream and our portfolio of companies focuses on is bringing brand awareness to the employer brand and career opportunities. And that's our perspective, that's our point of view, and that's our business. So being in that environment, and we see it and are at the receiving end of this all the time. There's layoffs happening left and right. Layoffs are on the rise. AI is going to take my job. All of this sounds familiar. I don't have to read you the headlines you see every day. But there was not enough discussion. What happens for the creators, for the success of their business, what happens when consumer spending goes down? And what happens when I am getting the brand deals, but nobody's buying the merch? This was not really talked about at all. And I think because we're just on a giving the budget mode, but it is a real thing that consumer spending is going down in major retail. If you look at the stock market, which is like where I'm getting this data input from, but consumer spending is going down, inflation increasing, layoffs on the rise. No one was talking about the macroeconomic outlook for what that means for the creator economy. The good news, I think, is career creators on our platform have a new category that is not in the CPG world or travel or food. It's in the jobs and helping people connect to meaningful opportunity. Another thing not nearly discussed as much was influencer fraud and how we're going to combat that as an industry. Some of the shifts we've seen are ones that we also establish in our own practice. We are not paying out and offering earnouts on things like cost per click, just because bots are just flooding the clicking attribution systems. But what I think is going to happen, and we take this position as well, is rewarding on that conversion. So for us, it's an apply. For a consumer brand, it might be a sale. Um, Not enough discussion are all these influential people, and they have real power to persuade others. And there was not enough discussion on what are influencers doing for good? What's the influence for business for good model? And I think it's something people are craving. Yes, they want transactions, brand deals. We all have to make a living, but there is also so much opportunity in this social impact world. Right before Cannes, I think the best display of this that I that I came across and just can't stop thinking about is Anthropic took a bunch of unemployed new college grads and are going to give them a AI sprint training. And then they're going to pair them with companies from the nonprofit sector who are typically strapped for resources, spread thin, don't have access to the greatest and latest of technology. But companies making really big investments in that are ones who I think, can next year be talking about this social impact and influence for good topic. Um, Again, affiliate deals were talked about a lot, but also not talked about how it can be compounding growth beyond the brand deal. I think it's interesting to think of the career trajectory of a creator and those who are creating content every day and going from brand deal to the next. Where do you see yourself when you're 90 years old? And what's this population of creators going to look like when they're older? Are we still chasing brand deals? Or are we thinking about a sustainable like longevity here? What does this career evolve into? So I think there's probably a really meaningful conversation to have around that. Um, which I'm excited about exploring a little more as well. Environment, yeah, it was grossly transactional and juxtaposed with, the headlines that we all know about. Um, the creator is the main gig. It's not the side hustle anymore, and I think that it's time for the world to start treating it as such. And I've seen right after Cannes, Beehive, if you're on Beehive, they did something really cool for their creators is they're going to start to give them things like health benefits, insurance, some of the things that you see in typical full-time employer type of jobs. But I feel like this is a trend that's only going to grow, and it's very much needed with so many people branching out on their own now. Job creation in this industry. This, again, is like the hottest job. When we were at Cannes, we launched the largest creator economy job board. And to date, I checked it today, but we have 2,500 jobs that are just about influencer marketing jobs. The amount of job creation that's happening, even in like, how does the creator get it, who's the team behind the creator, was these creative directors, assistants, interns, if you will. And honestly, they were the unsung heroes of Cannes because almost every major creator had somebody who was next to them with them, either fielding their conversations, no pictures, please, doing the things that they had to do to protect their creator talent and also drive their business. And they were holding the umbrella and they were shooting the shot and they were getting the perfect light and they were making sure that the moment was not missed to shoot the shot. So I think nobody's talking about this job, but this one is emerging and we've got our eye on it too. And something to know about the algorithms that, again, was not on display. A lot of these algorithms are rewarding the biggest spenders. We talked a little bit at the beginning about how if you had a paid ad, you'd use a hashtag ad. Now it's about that sponsored, the recognition around this is paid by the brand. So I think we all have to watch on the algorithm front. We're certainly seeing it on things like visibility versus followers.
Katie, I just want
Okay.
to quick time
Oh,
check. We've only got about 8 minutes, so I just want to make sure that we open it up for any questions. And
yes. Thank you. Um, Okay, let me wrap on this. This is a recap of many of the points that we discussed. Here are the 5 things that we recommend creators go and do now. And then would love to take any questions. Hi, Mary Ruth, I see you joined. But we'll also send this around so that it can be something handy. Um, but yeah, I I can pause on this. Thanks for joining, Mary Ruth.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invite. I'm just getting started with my journey. I think I probably started early in the year and did a little bit, didn't see anything came from it, kind of fell off my radar, and then saw a payment came through, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to pay attention to this. And so I've kind of dived in really wholeheartedly the last month or so and seen really great results so far with probably being able to maybe put a little bit more effort into it. I think I'm looking forward to kind of really growing this as an opportunity in my portfolio career. One of the questions that I seem to get, I've gotten more than once, I'll say, and I don't know, this is probably more tactical than strategic of what you're talking about today, but you mentioned, authenticity and truthfulness, and that people really, especially in this world of work, fake jobs out there, a lot of people are getting scammed and hustled with, data harvesting and things like that. So I have gotten the question, is this a legitimate job, right? Or they think I'm a recruiter, which I have a little talk off that I give them. I'm like, oh, not the recruiter, but I think that's the main thing that I would love to, kind of just hear your thoughts on is like, how is it just consistency that we're able to show that these are legitimate? Because I don't know that we see any data around the people that are actually applying through our lead to see if they actually got the job, right? I mean, is there any insight into that? That would be one question. And then the other about, any talk offs that we want to say about, is this a legitimate job?
Yeah, thanks for asking the question because I think, yeah, it tells me we can do a better job at communicating that. But the value that we're bringing with Jobstream jobs is we're working with employers who are hiring immediately. And we know that and that we can guarantee that. So what you won't have on Jobstream are links to different job boards that link out to other jobs. We try to stick to the most direct source, which is usually the career page of the brand. Um, where I think you might see job boards or like we do work with a few recruiting firms, but they are either retained or are working on the partnership directly with the brand. So it's kind of like the next nearest. And we vet all of our employers. So that's something that we are governing in order to work with us, you do have to guarantee that the jobs that you're posting are ethical and true and real, and that there's intent. So hopefully, I think what we can say differently than the job boards is that guarantee. These employers are hiring immediately. And how do we know that is because there's an investment behind it. And they engage companies like ours, like our holding company, to go and find new talent audiences.
That's all very helpful. Yeah. And I'm glad that's what I was hoping that you would say, because we do find there's a lot of companies out there that will have what they call evergreen jobs, right? There's just a rolling cycle of the same job description. So there's a lot of turnover. So I think has been a concern around that. And I've seen on some of the job posts that it says that there's no deadline or something like that, which I presume that means that we want to hire quickly. We need the right candidate. So that's how I'm interpreting that. I don't know if that's what that means or not. Sometimes the links don't work, and I assume that means they really did hire that quickly. So it was, the link is broken. I don't know how to report that either. So that's again a more tactical question for you. But so far so good. To me, I feel like I'm helping others, and also it's a kind of a mutual, benefit for them as they know that there's jobs that they may not have found. Especially if it's a retained search, they're not going to find that maybe in other avenues of looking for jobs. So I get to help and I get a return. So it's really nice. I'm enjoying it.
We're so glad you're here. And this feedback is really helpful. I want to make sure we're also getting you an answer on what's going on with the links because they should be live. We update our feeds a couple times a day. And but what that means is in that window, did the campaign expire and get turned off because they met a threshold? Like
Right.
that is a possibility.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we don't want that to happen. We're continuing to look for ways to be as accurate as possible. A lot of our partners all also work with different technologies, and I think you had asked, is there any visibility into like, do my followers get the interviews, get the jobs? It's also something that we're looking to develop on our tracking side, but because every employer pretty much has a different internal system. They also have a different applicant tracking system. None of them are the same. And a lot of the data, because it's PII,
Mhm.
is guarded. So I can't say that we have cracked the attribution model to get with the employer. When they're hiring so many people, like by the thousands each month,
Right.
this is an industry-wide issue. Tracking how interviews and hires when they're placed, like the sources that they came from.
Yeah.
I mean, we would love to do that. So we're working on it.
Yeah. Problem. Is there more of a, I guess I do have more questions than I thought. Is there a desire or a strategy of like where do the remote jobs sit in that? I know that those are always the most popular, both from what I do with you and then just in general as I've been doing this for about 12 years. But everybody is kind of flocking to those remote jobs. So I know they seem to get a lot of traction when I post them.
We see the same. They certainly are attractive.
Mhm.
I looked at our reporting yesterday on what's our breakout of in-person versus hybrid versus remote. It's only 2% of the jobs on Jobstream that are remote. It's not just on Jobstream, that's nationwide. And there's a real mismatch in the expectation and demand around employment. What that means is people like the sound of working remote, and those opportunities are such a minority. Um, I don't know how to change that problem. I think that's like a cultural shift that's happening before us that wasn't that way when I was looking for a job. I was, you know, an intern in person 12 hours a day because that was what I knew was going to help me grow my career. But I think what we're seeing is different different demand in cultural work behaviors. That is a real thing. What are you seeing in your practice?
Uh, as far as like percentages go, as for remote jobs,
I guess just
or
like the workforce in general. Like
it probably, I mean, it's probably for those who have already